Mike Kriegel, the co-founder of Instagram, said, "It took less time to build Instagram than it did for me to get my work visa." The app was an instant hit, and Facebook agreed to acquire the startup for about $1 billion in April 2012. So that's what Mike Kriegel, co-founder of Instagram, said. Now this video is about a responsive website versus a native app. Which should you build? Now there's a lot of information online, so I'm going to just make it very, very simple. That way your decision can be simple. The most important thing in making this decision is speed. Which one can you ship in 2 weeks? That is what it's all about. So which could you ship in 2 weeks and have it live in the Play Store? In 2 weeks from today, that's the one you should do. Because you can take your same responsive website, you can put that icon on it and have it in the Play Store in 1 day. So it means you can still have push notifications, you can still access the phone capabilities. It just be like a web view, a web browser view in the Play Store. So speed. I've seen more founders fail because not following the speed principle than pretty much any other rule. So you gotta ship this thing in 2 weeks and get it out. That's your number one rule. And then I want to give some examples for you of products now that work well in apps versus you don't need an app. You could just be a website, a web. So for example, imagine a game. So if you built a game, I highly recommend you go native app in the Play Store. Let's say if you build an analytics tool, an analytics product, then of course I recommend website, not an app. Nobody wants to look at that app in analytics. Team collaboration. So let's say it's you working with your team. I again recommend website, not an app in a Play Store, because if you're a team collaboration, they're going to be doing it at the office. And if they're at the office, they can easily log into on their desktop, on their big monitor to access the product. Let's say if you have an advertising website where you advertise various websites, like some kind of an ad network. Website, not an app. Because this is something like a business owner or a business customer would use. They want to do it on their desktop. Let's say if you have a blog. If you have a blog, I again recommend website and not an app because people don't want to crowd their phone with an additional app for just your blog. Let's say if you have a news summary app, like there's some good news summary apps. Example, Morning Brew. So Morning Brew sends you that daily newsletter where they summarize Wall Street and Silicon Valley news. It should be a website. It should not be an app in the Play Store. Or let's say if you have live news where you add live updates every few minutes or every few hours, for that I would recommend an app. So the thinking is if the consumer has to engage with it all the time, frequent engagement, potentially better than an app. And if it's some kind of a business tool or for business use or requires a lot of time rather than kind of simple browsing, then it should be a website. And remember my 2-week rule, whatever you can ship in 2 weeks, that's what you need to get out. And I would also like to say that the sponsor of this video is Bubble. So bubble.is. And if you want to build, let's say a SaaS tool or a social network or a marketplace without engineers, that's the caveat. How can you do it? So you can use bubble.is to build these products. So if you've always had a tech product you've wanted to build, some web application, you can use bubble.io. In just 5 hours, dude, in 5 hours, you can learn exactly how to build it because it's a code-free programming language. That means it's a programming language without code. So imagine doing drag and drop and having the SaaS tool you've always wanted to build live like tomorrow. That's awesome. I mean, that's just incredible. And Emmanuel, the co-founder, the founder of Bubble, he told me, he said, Vlad, there's a product who uses Bubble and raised $300 million. They built on Bubble and still runs on Bubble. So that means you can ship your MVP or you can just scale all the way up to a massive company on Bubble. So try that. It's bubble.is. That way you don't need to hire engineers, but you can still build your dream tech product web application. So a few differences I want you to be aware of. Responsive website versus native app. Native app, the main thing is it's just going to perform better, right? If it's in a Play Store, if you built it separate, it's going to perform better. Responsive website, if you also get that in the Play Store, it won't be quite as fast. It could get close. The experience won't be quite as good. The challenge with that is it's way easier to put a responsive website in a Play Store because you can get it in Google Play, you can get it in iOS with the same code, and you can update it quickly. Versus an app, a native app, you gotta ask your users to update every time. That creates a major headache, and you gotta build separate for Google Play, you gotta build separate for iOS, and that's just a lot more pain. So again, my advice is 2-week rule. Whatever you could ship in 2 weeks, that's the one you should do. And then I give you the examples, which ones. And some notes. Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, all native apps. Those guys are not built in a responsive website and web. Those are all native apps. They're built in a native language. And you should also know that. Did you know that Snapchat was initially it was initially a website? They initially didn't do a native app. It was initially a website, but the experience was so bad that they couldn't use it. They said, dude, the only way to do this is to have a native product. So started as a website, but the experience was too poor. It was just too bad of an experience that they transitioned to a native. Again, consumer facing product like this, it's for sure better native. So those are my kind of tips for you, how to approach native versus responsive website. My channel is all about entrepreneurship and startups. If you enjoy videos about entrepreneurship and startups, then subscribe to this channel. If you enjoyed this video, if you got something positive out of this video that'll help you in your journey, give it a thumbs up. So this way I know that to make more videos like this. If you have questions, comment below and I would love to answer you. And thank you so much for watching.